Astoria. Looks idyllic, don't it? As long as I can remember, I always wanted to be a hero. To me, being a hero and traveling around was better than being the king of Kamatchkalan. A hero is somebody in a city full of nobodies. And anyway, snitches get stitches. So that's the crew. And this is Kamatchkalan Chronicles.
Reporting to you live this week from Pigeon News Network, it is me, not a pigeon, here to tell you that the Dungeon Master, formerly known as Mr. World, is sitting out this evening because he is sick AF. So I will be your stand-in MC for the evening, basically doing the same thing I do every other week, talk. Well, welcome to Heroes and Hooligans on a Thursday night, friends. You all know what that means. It is Paint Pendulum, Kamatchkalan Chronicles. I don't have as a nearly fancy intro for us as Jason does, but again, sickness is the devil. So we're hanging out and doing things. Who wants to recap for last week? Ivy, right? You said you were going to do it. All right.
That's right. Hello, everyone. I am your friendly neighborhood wizard, the Wiz Kid. And Ivy, hello everyone, welcome. So yes, last week we got to go to this incredibly cool what is it, a lighthouse? Yes. And we got to fight this really tricky little flying bastard. I really hated him. He was very mean. I had to keep firing things at him and he wouldn't die and I kept missing. It was very frustrating. And our lovely Sai was hiding my new friends, Elvira and Sunny, and was just tanking mad hits. It was wild. Got very scared. Thought that my new planty friend was going to die. It was very scary. But thankfully, Elvira definitely came in clutch with the heals. It was amazing. Sunny also did this very cool like spider trick thing. They went like underneath the bridge because we had to cross this horrible ice bridge. It was ridiculous. I kept slipping and sliding, and not the fun kind of slipping and sliding. It was very traumatic for me. But Sunny managed to go underneath, was doing the thing. It was amazing. And then we all worked together. I kept using poison spells or acid spells to fire at this horrible little bastard who kept flying everywhere. It was very cold. I did not like it. My robes kept getting tied around my legs. It was very, very sad. But finally we managed to get some hits, almost got him out. Then these statues that were in front of us came to life as well. What was that about? I don't know. It was ridiculous. They started attacking my friends. I didn't like that, but my friends held their own. Got to beat them up, at least beat one up. They got flattened. Then we finally made it inside where we got to see this lovely sign on the door, above the door once we closed the door, which was great because it was very cold outside. It was a lot warmer inside once we closed the door. That was great. And then it was talking about some guy named Levi, and me, I was just like, I was totally out of it, to be honest. It was crazy. But we impressed some guy named Levi. Levi's impressed. Thank you, Levi. Shout out to Levi wherever you are, homie. Hopefully, I don't know. We'll figure that out. But yeah, that's what happened. In case you missed it, we all managed to live. And we beat some things up, and it was great.
Yes, and you forgot one important detail. Shield sandbagged us. That's what happened.
Yes.
So yeah, we got the lighthouse cleared, which opened up another fast travel point for us, which makes 3 now that we have. 1 in Astoria, 1 in KC 426, now Glaciava. After clearing that lighthouse and seeing the name Levi, questions were to be had. So I maybe might be a little sneakier than I like to let on, but I'm definitely very sneaky. And so I went back to Glaciava before we left. Don't ask how. I have a nice necklace. It was given to me from a professor a long time ago, and it allows me to be in multiple places at once. It happened. You didn't see it, but it did. And when I was in Glaciava asking questions about said Levi, I learned a little bit of information about him. You want to know, friends? I say to you, as we're back in the lighthouse in Astoria now.
Of course.
Yeah, so Levi, right, now that we're out of that cold, frigid, terrible place, is short for his long name, Levistus. How sweet, right? No, not sweet. He is a devil, a big bad devil, and he's trapped in a block of ice in the sixth circle of hell. And just so happens to be the arch nemesis of the owner of our favorite tavern in Glaciava / only one we're probably allowed in anymore / nicest one left standing ? Fuck Devolo, the essential leader of Glaciava. So they're not friends and they hate each other's guts. So it could be potentially helpful and interesting for us in the future playouts, or it could be not so nice, not so lovely. Also, sidebar, Ivy, your boy Soul has dropped you an inspiration in the audience for your awesome opening recap.
I want to say thank you to Soul. I love you. You're amazing. I wish you all the best. Ivy is now your #1 fan. So thank you.
So that's what I know about Levi.
So
I do not like people who feel the need to almost kill me before they get to know me in order for them to be impressed. There are other ways in which I am impressive, and you don't need to start with attempted murder. You certainly may feel the need to use attempted murder as we are becoming acquainted, but it's not a good beginning to a relationship, in my opinion.
Yeah, but Sai, I don't know if a guy who's trapped in a hunk ice somewhere, hanging out in one of the circles of a place that I don't want to see anytime soon, is really the one that attacked us, or if it was a minion of his arch enemy.
But he is impressed that we got through.
He was
I don't
impressed with
care
our
what-
battle tactics, maybe.
I mean, our battle tactics were impressive. Which reminds me, I need a nap.
I think we all need a nap.
Do you think it's likely he actually has any idea who we are, or he just wrote that impressed that anyone got past his minion and who was outside?
It could go either way.
Yeah, it could go anyways. Why do crime bosses think you're impressive? Because you do something criminally impressive.
I mean, I assume we impressed the crime boss when we took out all those twitchy teenagers.
We only took out some twitchy teenagers and put an extra twitchy teenager in charge of those guys, which could come back to bite us in the bacon another time, but not our monkeys, not our circus, or whatever the human folks on the mainland like to say.
We did not kill him. Ooh, Shield. Also, Shield, where were you? You were. What happened? How did you get here when you were not there?
Have you ever been in a fugue state?
I've been to the Feywild. Is that similar?
It could be, maybe. More or less, I suppose if I put a long story short, my god may have wanted to steer the wheel, as it were, for a minute. I kind of woke up in a pile of corpses. Probably should not go back to Glaciava for a minute.
My understanding is that
Were
in
they twitching?
They were twitching.
My understanding is that in Glaciaba that could earn you respect, actually.
Well, good.
You know,
That said,
if your god
next
had
time your
asked,
god
we would
wants
have
you
helped.
to- Yeah. We could have waited for you to finish doing your god's work before we went across the ice bridge and almost died.
That would have been convenient, but unfortunately for me, the entire time I was in Glaciava, it felt like my skin was going to peel itself off of my body, until finally Vikea Vicari, long may he watch, decided to slip on in and have me take out some trash, so.
So you were also slipping? I got you.
More like tripping, but in a manner of speaking.
Oh, that
I
reminds
guess that
me.
answers my erroneous sliding question.
And I'm going to reach up with one of my things and take off one of my newer branches. And Ivy, you might want to try putting this around your robes. The next time you are in a fight, you can tuck the tails up and not fall on your ass.
I'm going to thank you so much for this. I'm going to tie it, and this is going to be like, this is my new friendship belt.
Yes, I meant to ask, when did we get a wizard?
She followed us.
Well, actually, what had happened was Sonny and I were hanging out at Fox while Sai was doing tree things and you were doing whatever the fuck it is that you do when you're not with us doing shield things. And Sonny and I were talking and chit-chatting and just having a good old small person time. And shit got weird and shit got wild. And some looks were exchanged. And one of them just so happened to be with our new friend Ivy, who was able to keep the secret code when we were talking, which means that they were a great person to be candidate for our shenanigans. And so here they are, now a member of our shenaniganry.
Yes, we shared the look of friendship. It was confirmed.
It was more like a look of, you're seeing this shit too, right?
Yes.
You would have loved it, Sheila. Go ahead, Sonny.
Well,
Plus, she likes to travel too, so it'll be great. We can see sunrises everywhere.
Yes.
very fortunate for us then, I suppose. Welcome. Try not to get stabbed. It gets messy on my end.
You want to know the coolest thing about her shield?
I would love to. Why not?
She shoots giant balls of fire out of her hands, and it didn't even burn up the tree like my balls of fire do when I try to shoot them out of my wings.
I think that's a matter of aim, no?
I could carry a tune inside and outside of a bucket. I never said that I was an accurate assaulter.
No. It was different. Her balls of fire did hit me, but they only tickled.
Tickled with friendship.
It was.
I've never had a friend who tickled me before.
Are trees ticklish? And I'm gonna take my feathers and rustle around the crooks of one of your branches to see if it makes your branches shake.
What are you doing?
I'm tickling a tree.
It's fall, so as you do this, the leaves just start falling down on you. Because we are now in autumn, and my leaves are shedding. So you wind up with a small pile of leaves on top of your head.
I kind of feel like you had that coming.
I have an idea. But I have an idea with these leaves that fell onto my head. I shall make a golden crown of friendship to rest upon the head of our new Firefly. That's your name now, Firefly. And I can make you fly if you really want to. Do you want to fly? I bet you've seen a housefly and maybe even a superfly, but I bet you ain't never seen Ivy fly.
Let's do it.
All right, when I get more powerful magic, then I'll make you fly. But that's not today.
I will wait patiently for this day.
In the meantime, we should figure out what we're doing with the sword.
Oh, we still have that.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's
Yeah.
right. I'm not supposed to talk about it out loud. Elvira says to, shh, we should figure out what we're doing with the sword.
Yes,
Yeah,
of
because-
course.
Big things could come looking for this, and big things might not bite you in half because you can make like a tree and leaf. But I happen to make the best Friday night barbecue wings on the planet. Trust me, I know. Look at these feathers.
I keep you safe when we need to.
Yeah, but it was me saving your bark the other day, yesterday, whatever day it was. Time is a weird soup.
I do not think time is actually a soup, but that's fine.
I think it really might be a soup. The vestigial plasmoid soup of life is wrapped up in this thing called time. That's it. That's how I feel about it.
I hope it's delicious.
I think this is a Feywild thing.
No,
okay.
time is not a weird soup in the Feywild. In the Feywild, time is not really a thing.
Well, I know you want to know what we're going to do with you know what that we took from you know who, but I think when Sunny and I were braining it out, when everybody else was not braining it out, we came up with the idea, and our collective knowledges have surely indicated to us that if we stash this thing, this toothpick, that's what we'll call it, a toothpick, because it makes sense because you're a tree, right? We made it from your branches. Get it? A toothpick. Anyways, this toothpick, if we hide it in a bag of holding, nothing can know it's there because technically the inside of a bag of holding is a whole new place. It's just one of those really weird blurred lines kind of thing, but it can't be tracked. So that would save your bark and my feathers and these folks' skins. You do have the money, and I'll pull out our monies. We have quite a bit of monies left, so we should be able to afford to buy one. I think, hold on, I'll count the pieces and tell you how much we have left. Actually, it's just in my notes. We have 2,120 gold pieces remaining. The bag should cost us about 500, so that should leave us with a good nest egg to travel with. Oh, we have to pay for the ship too, to Socotra, of course.
I don't see the harm in it. Sounds like a fine plan. Bag of holding could come in handy for other things as well.
Yeah, like stuffing you inside of.
Actually, that was an idea of mine. Not me per se, but maybe somebody else's head.
Do you think you will fit?
There's really only one way to find out.
Science! We'll figure it out by science. But when we have extra gold to buy another bag in case we break that one because we don't want the toothpick that we're going to keep inside of it to explode out into reality in front of the faces of other people, because it's our toothpick. It's a magical toothpick, and it is only for us.
Of course.
Speaking of toothpick, you remember a while back when we all first met, when we were at the bar, and by we all, I mean two of you that are remaining in this adventuring party of ours? And there was that guy flapping his jaws, and he had that shiny heirloom sword, and then he ended up dead.
Twice. We had to kill him. Well, he ended up dead twice. We got framed for his murder, and then we had to re-kill him.
What kind of sword did he have?
It was a shiny one.
It was
But,
a
like,
great
About how he used it.
to kill a what? He used it to kill a what?
Supposedly a dragon.
to pretend to be a dragon and kill harmless villagers.
Actually, I don't think that's what happened. I think that is all a purple trout.
Trout are not purple.
Isn't that the expression that the human folks use? It's a purple trout when it's a trap.
How would I know? I don't talk to humans.
Not quite.
Not that I know of, but hey.
Wait a minute. Maybe it was it's not a purple trout. You're right. I got it wrong. Hold on. I'm gonna fix this. Is it it's a white salmon.
You're getting closer in a manner of speaking.
Okay.
Different color, different fish. You've got this.
I know. I know what it is. It is a red haddock.
Half of that is correct.
Purple haddock?
Colder.
Purple cold water haddock?
Dark haddock?
So close.
I don't care about the fish unless they are dead and rotting in my roots. What is the point of your message?
The point of my purple trout is, you remember Frederick, the hero, was holding up a tiny gold dragon scale.
Yes.
I remember he was holding a scale that he said was a dragon's, but after seeing the fabric in the mountains, I am dubious.
Well, as dubious as you may be, I am feeling very Sherlockish, and I think my investigative skills are right on the money here, because he had a big giant heirloom sword. He killed a dragon with it and had the scale. Somebody put him as a cold dead fish under somebody else's roots and called him a hero, which is very in line with what we learned in Glaciava. Roll back to 5 dragon-made weapons passed down through family heirlooms and used to kill things. What if the dragon scale that he carried around was also passed down with the sword from the battle with the small gold dragon, and the entire thing was made up, and somebody knew that he had that sword, and that's why they called him a hero? Because from what I know from this book that I have by Hatem Abishusha about dragons, it says dragons could walk amongst the earth looking like a people. And what if it was a dragon people that took that sword to keep him from doing stuff, or a bad person that knew that that is a dragon killing sword and wanted it for their own selves? But I think the village was a purple trout. Sad things happened there. Yes, we will acknowledge, but I do not think it was the sad thing that happens that we think that happened.
He did get killed.
Yes, but his merry band of adventurers that was supposedly dead wasn't actually dead, because Gendley, his friend, Frederick's friend Gendley, was thought to have been dead and showed back up into town and never existed. He just vanished.
So he showed up, but then he didn't exist?
No, he really existed.
As a dragon?
I may or may not be pondering the fact that it is a major possibility that Gendley is a dragon.
Maybe the Genly you saw wasn't actually the real Genly, and it was the dragon pretending to be Genly?
Oh, the problem is there's no record of Gendley existing ever anywhere.
Correct.
Oh.
We met him, we talked to him, we fell for his tricks, but he didn't exist ever anywhere. Because you see, people are not like these, and they leave paper trails, but Gendley did not, which does make Elvira think he was not a people.
Also not a tree.
He was definitely not a tree. He moved even faster than I do, and I am the fastest tree I know.
Yeah, he was really sketchy too. Do you remember he was like acting all weird and stuff whenever we met back up with him and things like that?
He does not sound like a friend.
To his spinal injury.
Yeah, whenever we met Gendley, he was in the hotel, and okay, I should retrace back to the very, very beginning steps of our tale that I am about to regale you with. We were charged with murder, but we didn't do it. I know every murderer says they didn't do it and that they're innocent, but we actually didn't do it. And then we were tasked with finding the actual murderer, which is what took us on this trail of tears that we ended up on. And when we got back from this trail, we went to the hotel where Frederick was staying, the inn where Frederick was staying, and Gendley was there in the room that was supposed to be Frederick's. And was all beat up, was all messed up, all kind of crazy stuff. And then all of a sudden, boom, Frederick burst through the door seeking revenge on those who did what they actually did to him, which wasn't us. We were not murderous at that point, as far as any of us aware. And if we were, I would not know anything about it because my counsel has legally advised me to not testify to this because it is criminal. Yes. You're a tree, not an owl. Why are you looking?
Because what if the undead not a hero was after the dragon not a fall victim, and we just were in the way?
That's what I'm saying. Like, all of these things that we've learned since our initial trip into the forest has left me questioning a lot of stuff that we have thought. Like, you know, we're young adventurers. This is our first rodeo. We have not done this before. We are not cowboys. Okay. So learning all of these new things, you know, we started jumping to quick conclusions when we first started getting our toes wet, thinking we had it all figured out. And then the whole book opened up and not just the page that fell out, you know, and I'm reading the bigger picture here. And I think it's more than what we thought it was. Do I think a tragedy happened in the woods where we felt the pain and the sorrow and there was the burn and stuff like that? Yes, I do concur that that was a very tragic event. However, I do not think its origins trace to the point that we assumed they did.
So do we need to go find Frederick's family?
That was my thought.
To the mountain pass to see if we can find new clues about what happened there. But that might lead to us having to fight a dragon, in which case we need the bag of holding first.
My thought process.
Dragon into a bag of holding?
No, the dragon can't sniff it out. That was Sunny and I's big brain theory, was the dragon couldn't find it in the bag of holding.
But also you cannot put the dragon in the bag of holding.
No, way
Not
too
with
big.
that
way
attitude.
too big. Whole dragon, not parts.
We can always try to befriend the dragon first before we try to fight it. It might be a nice dragon. We don't. I mean, you know, I've met a couple of nice dragons in my journeys. It's at least worth a shot. You know, and then if anything, if it tries to attack us, I'll just hit it with some freaking acid in the face. But
I would like to be friends with a nice dragon. I do not want to be friends with the dragon that started Vestment in Dermodo.
Ruddermack? Rootenmock?
Yeah, remember, that's actually a dragon.
Yeah, I remember Rootenmock's a dragon, but he's also a shiny one, which means if you had to put a label of good and bad on the dragons, even though that is subjective, he would be on the good side.
But he didn't do good things.
He thought he was. He did do good things in the way that a dragon does things that are good for themselves.
He's been around long enough that he should be able to tell if he's doing good things or not.
Is he still alive?
Yes.
Do we need to find him too, as well as Frederick's family?
Well, my thought is, after I read through my my notes that I have in my little bard songbook, because I was going to write a story about this battle because I thought it was going to be epic. When we looked at the battle scene, there was only one set of footprints that left the battle. Everything was burned and it smelled like rot and decay. And remember, the forest was dying in that area.
And there were rusty weapons,
Yep.
and the corpses had no armor, and there was a glinty foilish cloth.
Which was a costume. But after reading through my book, because I've been thinking about this a lot, and I scrolled back through Hatem Abishusha's dragon book, and there are dragons that nest in forests, build their hordes and stuff in forests, green ones and black ones. Green ones like lush vegetation, and black ones like swampiness. The forest where that happened was called the Drunken Forest. Remember? It was oversaturated. It was becoming swampy. Everything
Yeah,
was
my mom
rusted,
lives
like
there.
it had been corroded with acid.
Whoa. Acid is not good for tree roots.
I think a black dragon, because I remember Mayor Sammy telling a story a while back when I first got to Astoria about fighting black dragons in the hideout below the Astorian lighthouse. And the mountain where this happened is not far from Astoria, and they were young black dragons, which young means there's old somewhere. My thought process is it is a black dragon making a lair in the mountains in Astoria, and that is what is causing the forest to become drunken and more soggy because they're like turning it into their lair, so they're swampifying things. And it would make sense that a chromatic dragon would want a weapon that would hurt a metallic dragon, because metallic dragons are the only thing powerful enough to truly stand against them in the battle of Tantine, which is the dragon game that one of them is going to be the richest at the end and they're hoarding treasures until then.
And in the end, there can be only one. I've heard that story.
Yes.
I don't think we are strong enough to deal with an acid-spitting dragon yet.
I concur, which is why I think that before we leave Astoria, we should go to City Hall to look up the few things that we wanted to know. And we should we were looking for the origins of Kamatchkalan because we have our suspicions because Dr. Haber's name was on there. I wonder if Frederick is related to Dr. Haber, because Dr. Haber is supposed to have one of the weapons, and it would make sense why a locally known hero would have a family heirloom on that side of Benalia. If you look at our map, we're off in our own little corner. So maybe family records to see, trace the origins back. And also to find out Frederick's lineage. Because the only thing we know by Frederick is his name. Just Frederick. We don't know last name. We don't know anything about anything aside from he was a locally loved hero. And he had a shiny suit of glinting armor and a big giant family heirloom sword that matched the dragon scale.
Okay. I don't mind doing this plan. This feels better than making drugs.
that was a one-time thing, and it was meant to do exactly what it did: get us in, get somebody dead, get the toothpick, and get out. And we didn't
Wow.
even have to turn over my world star recipe for Tears of the Sun.
And I think you still have some of it, I thought.
You
I
guys
do.
are also drug dealers?
No,
This is great.
Excuse me. We do
Oh.
not deal.
Oh,
That's ours.
drug
I happen
makers?
to fancy myself an alchemist in my spare time. Thank you very much.
Yes, Elvira is a drug cook.
A drug cook. Okay. Wow,
Indeed.
you guys are some of the coolest friends I've ever had.
Yeah, back on the ship, they used to call me Heisenberg. But when I hit the mainland, I decided it was probably better I went by a different name because I didn't want to carry that same reputation I had when I was, rolling with the Nomies. But we don't got to talk
Right.
about those times.
I mean, listen, that might come in handy later. You know, street cred is everything in some places.
This is why we shared that look, Ivy. This is why.
Me?
Locked
You see?
eyes. And I knew at the moment that my bright and shiny turquoise eyes locked with your beautiful chocolate brown ones, that it was it. We were meant to be a part of this not drug dealing brigade.
That's right. Not Trap Queen.
Maybe. So that's my connection to Frederick. Based on my very detailed account of things that happened. I write all these things down because someday I'm going to be famous and I'm going to write a song about our adventures. And it's going to be a 42 stanza song that stretches and stretches like the song that almost didn't end.
Can I play the cowbell in the back?
Yes, it's the most important instrument.
You always need more.
Always more cowbell. Which also leads me to wonder, what is the purpose of our adventure now at this point, given the new knowledge we have obtained since leaving Astoria again?
We still need to save my mom.
Yes. In the drunken forest, inhabited by a black dragon. We'll get right to that. Let me check my feathers. Sometime.
Should we scout out the forest so we know
did
what
that.
kind of
Didn't find
fix?
out.
Maybe
Yeah.
so.
What's wrong with your mom?
Well, if Elvira is right, then her roots are going to be consumed by acid. If Elvira is wrong, then the permafrost will melt from under her and she will fall over. Either way, it's bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both of those do not sound like good options.
We met my uncle and he said it was a problem.
Russell, he was a good guy. He was a really nice guy. Your Uncle Russell, the tree.
I do
he
have to
was a good
wonder
guy.
though,
Hmm?
where does the cult of Mashulu fit into all of this? Everywhere we've gone, they keep popping up. They also tried to flood the city.
Did we see any of them in Glaciava? I don't remember.
We didn't come across anybody in Glaciava that we are aware was a part of the cult of Mashulu. However, I wonder if Mashulu is strictly Kamatchkalanian lore. Or, tied to this area. The people are kind of here. Because do you remember what Dr. Haber looked like in the darkness? Those of you who can see in the dark.
He looked like an octopus.
Ding, ding, ding. Winner, winner. Sunlight dinner.
He wasn't very big, and Moshula was supposed to devour the world.
Do you think Dr. Haber started as a human who made a pact with a magical entity that ended up consuming him to the point of what he is now, equaling madness?
I don't know that
Because-
I'd consider him mad. He seemed just eager.
He wanted to put you in a pot and keep you in his musty basement with his snake friend for the rest of his life. That was very
Sorry,
motivating to me.
The
feel
third person to try to put me in a pot.
I
And that's
feel
how
you may
you
have a
know.
slight bias in this situation, Si. He wanted to butcher the rest of us like we were animals and keep you like a pet tree.
That would be the third person who wanted to kill my family and put me in a pot and make me a pet.
And the other ones aren't good, are they?
The gardener is very nice.
The other ones besides the gardener.
The druid is not nice.
Put Hobber in the same category as the druid.
Okay. Maybe.
Yeah, it's tragic, isn't it, Ivy?
Just absolutely terrible.
I'm just saying, Dr. Hobber is extremely Voldemortian for a Kamatchkalanian. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No.
I don't
Right.
know who that is, but yes.
Oh, just the evil wizard that lived long back in the days of the children's stories that I used to read when I was floating on a pirate ship somewhere in the middle of Benalia.
I feel
Yeah.
compelled to ask you if he had a nose.
Unfortunately, no. Rumor has it that he did not have a nose, which was
Not
really
having
crazy.
a nose does not make you evil.
I mean, that's true. He just happened to be evil and not have a nose.
Not inherently, but it is one of the boxes you check.
You
I
know,
don't have a nose. Am I evil?
No, that's because you don't
Subjectively
check the other
so.
boxes.
Possibly. Are you evil? Only you know.
There are several boxes to check. You just don't check all of them.
Does anyone think they're evil, Elvira?
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Hobber does not think he is evil.
And stupid people don't know they're stupid either.
Hobber is also a squid man, who I must reiterate thought it was perfectly acceptable to murder all of us for opening a door and wanted to keep you as a pet plant.
In
And
fairness, go ahead, Sonny.
And had an undead wife, maybe?
Yes, he also had an undead wife.
And
Well,
a
if your
giant
wife died and you loved her so much that you brought her back, I don't feel like it's our place to judge that relationship.
Listen, whatever the man enjoys in his personal time is what he enjoys in his personal time. It's when he goes infringing upon my right to exist as a bird being that my avian feelings kick into flight mode and I'm the fuck up out of there, friendo, like we did. Goodbye with our tree too.
Does this mean we have to go back to Hobber to get another toothpick?
And
That is
justice.
what I don't know because we don't know which particular toothpicky item Dr. Haber's family possessed. Also would be helpful for us to know lineage of Frederick, to know if Frederick is a Sorn as well as Dr. Haber. And if so, then yes, there's the connection, but we don't know what item he has. It could be a toothpick. It could be one of the other four things that I shall not be naming out loud, but yes.
Wait, I'm gonna need you to. I was off doing tree things when you found this out.
Oh,
I was being a tree and finding out about the death from above and the ice from below and thinking of how to get you and us safely with you healing me. And I didn't know about Ivy or I would have had a plan for you, Ivy. I'm sorry. I just didn't know you existed.
No worries. Now you know that we exist and we're friends, so it's fine. It's all good.
I will work on growing bigger so I can hide you in my branches if I need to.
okay.
Thank you.
Sai, what I found out when we were in Glaciava, and Sunny and I talked extensively about this, was about Nobelium, which is a metal that was discovered by Francisco Noble. and ended up naming it Nobelium for the family. Francisco Garibaldi Noble was his name, and he learned the secret of Nobelium from the Platinum Dragon Methys. Methys had commissioned Francisco to write a biography, and as anybody who is completely and utterly obsessed with themselves does, they started talking and told about some things that they probably shouldn't have. In this discovery, Francisco took a note and found out about, I think he called it Metalbane. Yep, Metalbane, which he learned that Metalbane is a ore that grows deep underground, which is why metallic dragons, and it hurts metallic dragons, tend to build their hoards underground because people think it's to protect their treasure, but it's to hide the Metalbane. Long story short, Francisco got some Metalbane, spent his life making some weapons, and the weapons that were made from deceit and trickery, using blood from one of the 5 shiny dragons. Starting out with a Nobelium dagger, which was made from a copper dragon's blood. The Nobelium rapier, made from a silver dragon's blood. The Nobelium arrow, made from brass dragon blood. A Nobelium javelin from gold dragons. And a Nobelium greatsword from platinum dragons. All of the blood was tricked out of the dragons in one sort or another by the first sons of the 5 great families. And the job was for the second sons to take these items and essentially get the world back under control of mankind and not dragonkind. They described it as dragon tyranny that they were trying to end, which is why I said good and evil is subjective. And if I have to be friends with a dragon, I'd rather be a shiny one because they're at least nicer and more lawful than the other kind. But Dr. Haber is one of the 5 names in people of possession of one of these items. Other names being General Atazan, Mater Viverandi, Madrigal, and Prophet Bungle.
Well, why don't we go look up their names in the library?
Yes. Good idea. But
there's probably like family charts.
Yes.
A book of like
the guys
numbers or something.
Lineage, like a family, like a family sigh, a tree. Every family has their own sigh, just not our sigh. Just saying.
I don't know about that. That sounds weird.
I'm just saying, it's the truth. So
well,
the second sons of these 5 families did indeed take the weapons and put fear into the hearts of dragons. They killed 5 young dragons and claimed dominion over the land, each one of them claiming their own kingdom. So we know Glaciava is a kingdom. We know Kamatchkalan is one of the kingdoms. We don't know what the other 3 are. We know we have the rapier. We do not know who it belonged to because our fine, nervous, strangered friend did not tell us their name or if it was even their sword and they just really wanted it. And we do not know which person possesses what, so we don't know what Dr. Haber has.
And they only kill the shiny ones? Maybe someone else created ones that will take care of the evil dragons. Maybe there is a flail of anti-acid dragon.
You know, that would be something we could learn from Calthax, I think.
Carfax?
Calthax. It's the library, right, Ivy? You want to go there, or have you been there? You haven't been there yet, right? You just
I haven't been there. It's been my dream to be there, to go there, to be part of all of this intellectual energy that just manifests itself there. Oh,
Yeah, but you can't join House of the Mind when we go there. You have to wait until you like retire and stuff. Okay? Because if you
I
join them, they're
know.
going to make you stay, and then you won't be adventuring with us anymore.
I know. Then it would be really sad because I like adventuring with you guys because you guys are my new friends.
It's way cooler than being trapped up with some dusty books all the time, in my opinion.
Be like, that's a dream for after my travels are done. It's fine. It's okay.
When we come to the end of our adventures, if I have been slain, you can use me to make a book.
Okay. So I don't know how I would feel about making one of my old friends into a book, but I guess maybe we hopefully will never have to find that out.
Everything
I
dies
was thinking
eventually.
more along the lines of turning you into a nice, cozy perch so I can continue to live in you even after your death. But chances are you're going to live way longer than me.
Well, if I live long enough to get big enough, you could probably do both. I think it would be fun to become a spell book in my next iteration.
Oh, that's fair.
You know,
I
I
will
just
take
had
very good care
another
of you.
light bulb pop on in this brain of mine. We met Captain Quint. What was Captain Quint's last name?
Bungler.
And one of the people on this list is Prophet Bungle. Do you think that Bungle transformed into Bungler when it made its way to a new land to take over territory, similar to Von Tobler becoming Tobler in that transition?
Probably, but Captain Bungler got exploded by Mushulu.
The captain of my ship was also a bungler, and I happen to know where the bunglers operate their not criminal enterprise out of.
But I thought you said they were pirates. And the captain we knew was definitely actually a smuggler.
My legal cleric has advised me to not say anything on the grounds that it could be potentially incriminating to me always.
Yes, crime queen. Yes.
So if you have a legal cleric, am I your illegal cleric?
Oh,
Yes, I've seen what you do.
You know what,
You
Sonny?
tried to bite a rock man.
He had it coming.
He was a huge jerk.
See?
When all else fails, use what you have. I would have pecked his eyes out if I could get close enough to not die to him to peck his fucking eyes out. And probably would have hurt my beak, but I would have tried it.
So the stories of making the swords made a point of how they were all made through kind of like deception and trickery. This does not feel like a thing that you would assume was being done by people who were good or
No.
nice. And
But if they were trying to save humanity from the dragons because the dragons were confused about what was good, maybe what we need is an arbiter of the peace. Is that a thing?
I guess what I'm saying is I'm worried that we're getting this information that the same place that says the dragons were bad was also the one who thought the people who were doing trickery were the good guys.
Well, in fairness, it was garnered from research that I found in a Twitch Kid lab, so they maybe had some lines mixed up. Their hands might have been a little jerky when they were researching and things like that. But
You need to get seconds with this.
they did say it is the only metal that good dragons fear and is the main reason for dragon layers being deep underground. Before its discovery, humanity lived in fear, substance, and servitude to dragons. Dragons flew above as apex predators, and the humans cowered. In the book I have about Haddam Abishusha, they talk about the Tontine, which the Tontine has been around for a very long time. It was an agreement between dragons that they would not personally fight each other, but they would accumulate the riches of any dead dragons. All dragons were involved, the good ones and the bad ones. So whether there's good and bad in dragons is subjective in the eyes of humanity viewing an apex predator flying mightily over their lands. Makes sense?
I wonder if the humans or the non-dragons use the swords to force the good dragons to engage with the evil dragons to make it so that the time stopped or happened. To force that agreement to happen, like made them go to negotiation table where before they could just ignore them.
I should mention to you about the Tontine and the copy of Hatem Abishusha's book that I have. It happens to be the only remaining copy in existence because it talks about the Tontine, which is a very, very secret thing that the dragons did not want humanity to know about, that they were secretly divvying them up as goods and services. So maybe best we don't disclose the knowledge of the Tontine to anybody outside of our group.
Or you need to find some way to make a whole bunch of copies of it and put it all over the place.
The Tinkerer. He seems to make copies of a lot of things. Like the Warforged in KC 426 that don't work anymore, and I feel actually good about that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
What?
Did we tell you? Sonny, do you want to tell them about the Warforged?
I heard about the Warforged.
What do we actually know about that?
They stopped working. Does that mean that they died or that they're on strike? Because if they're striking, then I am not taking guano until after the strike is over, because I do not cross picket lines.
Well, the people that we happened to overhear talking about it said that they were going to rob a ship, but the ship was not there. Yeah, it was empty. It didn't have the guano from KC 426. And come to find out, all of the Warforged in KC 426 ceased to exist after we left.
I thought they just stopped working after we left.
Well, ceased to exist, stopped working. I am involved. I have to embellish.
I have ceased to exist before, and I have stopped working when I got tired. It's different. When you cease to exist, it's because someone kidnaps you into another dimension. When you stop working, it's because you are tired and you say no, and you put your branches on your burrows.
So, cease to exist equals dead, and not working equals tired. Noted for next song lyrics. But they don't work anymore, man. And if you remember, Dr. Haber was formulating a synthetic guano. The Warforged worked for Big Booty Judy. What was her name, that lady?
I have leaves about it. I have leaves. My leaves say things. No, that was when we had to condom for the coral. Okay, the Tinkerer, the guano miners. Young girl was Alexis's ally. Hired by young inventor Alexis. Wasn't it? Was it Alexis? Was she the? No, Miss Deagle.
Yes, Mrs. Deagle.
They have to work for Mrs. Deagle.
Mm-hmm. So do you think because Mrs. Deagle operates under Vestment Intermodal, which is capitalism to the extreme, that once they were attacking do you remember that the young boy said they were attacking the lighthouse every day, but they were able to be staved off by traps and things?
Yeah.
We disabled the traps. Yeah, we disabled the traps in the lighthouse that would have allowed the Warforged to actually break in. There was no guardian upstairs, and Dr. Haber stays locked in the basement. What I conclude happened, and I think some of you are thinking along these same lines, is Mrs. Deagle was sending the Warforged to attack the tower every day because he was making synthetic guano that would take over her business, capitalism. And once they finally got in, they tried to shut Haber down, who draws immense power from some otherworldly being, which I think is tentacle god Mishulu. I'm just speculating. And all of the Warforged are no longer working because I think Dr. Haber and Cutie killed them all.
But no, because you cannot eat the brains of Warforged. They don't have them.
Who said he was eating the brains aside from just protecting his lair?
He did.
He was very adamant about the research and protecting his project because he thought everybody was coming to steal his science. If his competitor sent their goons in there, which he thought we were, because remember, he kept asking, who sent you? Who sent you? Who made you come here? Remember, he was asking all of that? So if he thought that they were sent there, he maybe don't have to eat their brains to make them no longer operational.
That's fair.
They also got into the lighthouse, so they could have just traveled somewhere.
Or maybe because okay, my back hurts. We need to look in for Frederick. We could put on the list going back there to see what is happening on the island for ourselves, because if they're just staging a sit-in or on strike, then that's okay, and we should help them because their working conditions were terrible.
Yes, but you did say maybe they didn't know their conditions were terrible. Remember when we talked about it when I wanted to break them out, and you said that you think that it's just what they like doing? Because that's what they were built to do.
We got busy and didn't ask.
Yeah. I think going back there is a good idea in the future. Oh, I just don't know if we are... Oh, they're typing in Discord. I wonder if we should go back there when we get a little stronger and maybe possess a tad more knowledge.
Maybe when I won't have to volunteer to stay with the doctor that you all say is evil in order for you all to escape.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I mean, I would stay with him in order for you to escape, but
if
he's evil, I'd probably rather not.
You're coming with us.
Yeah, let's not run that
Plus, his synthetic guano does not work, if you recall.
Yes, it did not. But it could be used for potentially other things, and I'm concerned in the hands of the wrong capitalist that it could be turned into something much different than it was originally meant to be. But the problem is Matria is the main recipient of the guano from KC-426. Matria is the next stop on our journeys. Well, Socotra, then Matria, because you have to go through Socotra to get to Matria. My concern is we have cut off the food supply for Matria now by allowing these Warforged to be decommissioned because the guano super grew their food because they were overpopulated and weren't able to produce enough of it on their own. So we may be potentially facing a little bit of another struggle when we get there, but Sunny and Ivy and I think we made a pretty solid plan of travel when we talked, when you were treeing and Shield was shielding.
Yeah.
Because if you remember our map that we got in the basement place at the inn, it showed the shipping lanes that came in and out of in and out. Yes. One of them straight to Glaciava, which was just a hop, skip, and a jump from Kamatchkalan. One of them to KC-426, and one of them to Matria via Socotra. Socotra has its own lighthouse. So our thought process was book the next ship to Matria, stop in Socotra, clear that lighthouse, and then continue on our way to Matria, which is on the mainland and also has a lighthouse, opening us
Yes.
up 2 more quick travel ways and also getting us onto the mainland, because we do have a slight rumor to investigate in the forest of Esmeralda as well.
Oh, I would like to go to another forest. We
Well,
spend
the
far
forest-
too much time indoors for my taste.
You're right, we really do. But this forest could be potentially inhabited by a dragon now.
Well, so is mine, apparently.
Maybe. Don't quote me. I'm just, throwing out very likely possibilities with all of the provided information.
So we're getting back on a boat after we go to the library. If it's all the same to you, I'll probably wait outside.
We can't go to the library yet because the trip to the library is perilous, hence why Ivy hasn't been there. And the only place to charter a ship to the library out of is
Not
out of Broadwater. Oh, the library in
But
Astoria.
it's here to find out about Frederick.
Yes, sorry, I'm ahead of
Right?
myself. I really do
Out-
want to visit them.
About where the bunglers are.
Correct. But once we get to Matria, that puts us on the mainland and gives us a lot of other place to kind of figure out kingdoms and stuff like that. That's assuming that even the city records of Astoria even has any information on these people, because if they don't, my fear is the only place we're going to be able to get this information is in Calfax, where the House of the Mind keeps detailed records of every historical event ever.
Mm.
So once we get to Calfax, they have a lighthouse, so we can go back later.
Yes.
So we don't have to look up everything at
True.
once.
True.
Mm.
Yes.
This is confusing enough to make me wish I had a brain.
It is confusing enough to make me wish I was in your shoes.
I don't
Or
wear
your
shoes.
Your roots. I don't either. I'll hold up my little talons.
Yeah. Shoes just seem uncomfortable.
You notice
Well-
that my talon on the back of my foot is sharp and it looks kind of deadly when I hold up my foot. But it's painted like my toenails on my talon nails are actually. So dangerous but beautiful.
Glamorously dangerous. I like it.
Mm. Well, like I said, I really need a nap, guys. Because you guys did an amazing job of keeping me from dying, but I'm so tired.
Sleep it off. You'll feel
Can
all
we
better.
Can I go to a park and go to sleep now? Or do we have more thinking to do?
I don't think we ever left the lighthouse. So probably so. Shield.
Yes.
Do you have any eggs to toss in our basket?
I just think we need to keep Mashulu's cult in the back of our head while we investigate all the dragon connections. It would be interesting to see how localized Mashulu's cult might be while we're investigating various happenings with, as I mentioned, the dragon connection. Because if we start finding more signs of Mashulu, the cult is either bigger than we thought or spreading, which either way is not exactly good.
We haven't found any signs of Mashulu outside of Astoria. Aside from the time we had to build the condoms for the coral, and pretty sure that's what crashed our ship.
Didn't the cultists also have a recruitment ritual they wanted to send us on? That was a pretty good distance away.
Yes. We had to go through the mainland to get there.
Yeah.
I think I have that. Well, they didn't tell you. Only I knew that from drinking the drink. But I told you. And I don't remember. Hold on.
It's like go to a desert or an island or something and do a thing.
Yes, the
to-
Temple of the Naga.
Yeah, they wanted us to slay a beast to prove we're worthy to join the cult. Or I say we, but it would have been you. I have certain hang-ups about joining a cult.
They gave me Shagus, which I saw this thing where I needed to go essentially to the Temple of the Naga. Wilf and Seth, a tall, thin human and a round-faced halfling, which were saying a lot of words like Eldritch and Gibbous and other words. And they said to me, Mushula will eat the world, and told me to go to the Temple of the Naga if I wanted to become an acolyte. But I don't think we even know where the Temple of the Naga is.
I thought we figured out that it was. I thought we figured out a place and it was something like weird where like it was in a desert or in someplace sandy, which just seemed very weird to me for a thing that I don't know.
On the other side of the mountains of Escor Pass is a desert. It's past Kindermunt, because Kindermunt is in the mountains below Harboron and Escor. There's an entrance to Kindermunt on the Escor Pass side, and there's one in Harboron. So Escor Pass leads you out through the mountains into the other side, which is the desert, which is Asperon, I think. Asperon? Hold on, I have this. Actually do have this. It is Asperon. Asperon is located beyond the mountains. There's Nokor in the north, Escor in the middle, and Sokor in the south. And the Escor Pass cuts directly through the mountains where Kindermunt is sandwiched in between the mountains and the Underdark. And on the other side of those mountains in the desert is Asperon.
I didn't like Kindermunt. We shouldn't go there again.
I want to visit everywhere.
Okay, I guess if we wanted to visit everywhere, we could do it. Just was not, I don't know, was not a very pleasant place.
Well, you wanted to see the sun, and I want to see what it's like to live in the dark.
There are better places than that.
Yes,
It's just
but
solid.
I heard of a man that lives there. A dwarven man named Alabaster, who happens to be an expert tinkerer himself, and he does this very specific technique of fire gilding. And I want these spikes made for my talons, and I want him to fire gild them for me.
Okay.
Some people want hats, some people want spikes.
I can appreciate wanting shiny things. That seems legit. It might be worth going there for that.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. But the trip to the mainland takes us from Astoria to Socotra, where there's a lighthouse. We clear that lighthouse and then go on to the mainland where Matria is. There's a lighthouse there. That opens us up a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lighthouses. And there are a couple others to discover. One in Broadwalk, one in the Fjordlands, one on Calthax. So Broadwalk is the place where we would charter a ship out of, Sai, for when we do want to go to Calthax, because it's the only place that has seafaring charter ships that go there, because the House of the Mind is extremely get the hell out of here sort of people.
I trust you. I won't remember this.
I know. That's why I write about it in our songs of our adventures.
Yeah.
Very
I'm
useful.
also hopeful to meet a famous bard someday. I would love to meet somebody who could pass a little air of their musical knowledge onto me so I could become the greatest bard ever. After I'm a scientist and a politician and a few other things that I want to do in my life before I am not a bird anymore. But I'm kind of tired too. I did squawk a lot today.
I think I'm gonna go to the park that's over near my greenhouse and put my roots down there tonight. Do you mind sleeping outside? Or did you guys want to find an inn?
I'll stay with you.
Well,
Sounds
I
fun.
can sleep out.
Outside suits me fine.
the only inn in town, that's one order of business we really should clear up,
Oh, yeah.
guys.
We should fix that.
Barneswell, yeah, we should get Barneswell out of jail. Give him a little bit of our booty that we have left. I don't know, like 100 gold pieces, and give
Tell
him
the
a real.
guards by a dragon.
Well, we can't tell him that. We can tell him that Gendley. We found evidence that indicates that Gendley was actually the murderer, and this man was wrongfully convicted because they made us convict him very quickly, and we didn't have enough time to think straight to do so, or else we were going to go to jail. But I think we should get him out of here before we leave, because I don't think it's fair for a man to be sitting there rotting in a prison cell that could get flooded with water. But then, should he stay there? Because he did have that really creepy cult stuff in the basement. I don't know. We could dream about it, figure it out.
That sounds good.
So was he a Mushu cultist?
He's
Yes.
where we
Likely.
discovered Mashulu.
He's how we
Remember
found
when-
out about
Remember I told you about the seawater in the basement, and you said that means there's a crack in the foundation or something, and that it's not good? Well, the seawater that was in the basement was manifested in a magic circle in a weird temple that was locked behind this door that you had to listen to music to get to, and it was like do 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 do, and there was a whole song that went with it, and it was
My heart belongs to you.
Oh, well, that sounds nice. Talking
Yeah.
about hearts and love.
It's all about how the tentacles have wrapped around your heart and won't let go.
yeah, all the
Okay, a
year
little
time
dark, a little dark.
won't let go of me. Yeah, that's how the song went.
There's a special kind of love for everyone.
Yeah.
It's got 3 verses. One that says, "Deep in the depths of my soul, current so strong and so cold, Mushulu, my heart belongs to you." And then another one that says, "We crawl through the muck and the mire, drowning all thoughts of desire. Mushulu, we are all slaves to you." And then the other part was, "All of your tentacles won't let go of me times 3." And it went chorus, verse, verse.
Okay.
And that's how we got it. And when we did get under there, it was floody place, and it was not good, and we almost drowned, and we were also fighting things down there, weren't we, Shield?
We were.
No, we were trying to solve a puzzle so we could try to find out more information before we had to get out. It was a puzzle problem. I don't think there was
Well.
a fight.
There was a fight with water.
Shield was fighting a door.
That's right. We're fighting the door.
It was very difficult not to drown.
Yes.
You know, I wrote a
That's when the-
song about Naime when we were back there.
So you were fighting a door?
It was the only thing between us and the floodwater that suddenly appeared in the city as we began investigating the strange occult objects. And then when we got back out of the basement, the rest of the city was flooding.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a ritual circle that was still glowing. It was nautical in decor with fish, waves, and tentacles. Shield started feeling a strain. Water was rising, and it was salt water, not rain. and they found a different door, and it was a sturdy door, much different than the rest of the doors in the basement. It was like a very, very sturdy door. It was a fancy fun time magic circle, TM shield.
It is
And yes, but it was still glowing was the issue when we got down there. And also Barneswell's whole entire basement space underneath the inn looked like somebody cut a chunk out of a ship, slapped it in the ground, and built a hotel on top of it.
Wow.
Straight up was windows in the basement that were like the porthole windows and everything.
I mean, it feels weird having windows in the basement. But I guess if you have a theme.
The only problem is the whole inn was not themed.
Oh.
It was very plain, very standard, very boring. Leoman's Lodge, standard tavern, bed, table, wash basin in a room sort of place. And that place was definitely different and decorated. Oh, there was another part. I used to believe, but now I know your tentacles won't let me go, Mushulu.
Dedicated. Okay. Yeah, well, I think we should probably...
Wait a minute! Oh my God!
Oh, yes.
At Leoman's Lodge, the new person that took over for Barneswell when Barneswell went to jail was named Wilf. Wilf is the name of the tall, skinny dude that we met in KC 426. He was drinking a frosty mug of Shaggus.
You think it's the same person?
I
Or a
100%
code name.
know it's the same person. I have a photographic memory. All I need is my musical notes to tell me what the picture looked like when I start to sing it. The movie plays. It's the same dude. Looks the same in everything.
That was a... Huh.
What did you say,
What?
Shield?
It could be a code name as well.
No, man. No. It's the same guy. I'm telling you. It's the same guy. My lyrics never lie. Just like these hips. Okay?
So is this guy a friend or a person we have to punch in the face or give drugs to?
More than
It
likely,
is
we're
very
going to have to
hard to tell
stab
the
him
difference.
repeatedly.
It is
Yes,
very
what
hard
they
to
said.
tell the difference.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
far,
I
the
didn't
only
get that.
person we've met that I was quite sure about was the one that was trying to kill us in that mountain pass, and my uncle.
The one that
My
tried to
uncle
kill
was
us at Mountain Pass was not a people. It was the Thunderboar.
And it
and the
needed to
ogre.
die. The ogre needed to die. I'm quite sure that was true. But in terms of friend and foe, I don't know.
All right, so why don't we sleep
Yeah.
and get a good night's rest outside under the beautiful stars. Take a
And
little
then
sleepy.
we can hit the records and try to get the innocent guy out of jail.
Yes, and stab the other guy.
Is he
Maybe.
really innocent? Is he
Nobody-
really?
Is anybody really innocent? I know you're not.
Listen, here's some more in my lyrics about Wilf, because when we went downstairs, and then when we had to run away, we got back upstairs. Wilf was gone. He wasn't there anymore. So we don't know who's now running the inn. We should probably figure that out, because Wilf was in KC 426, which is how I know it's the same person, because I have it written down here, Shield, that he was gone when we got back up there, which very much validates my photographic memory that I told you that I had.
Which might mean we have a stalker, so we should look for Wilf wherever we go.
That's fair. So I'm getting sleep, prison break, stab a guy.
Sleep, Hall of Records. Visit the clerk of the court to sort out the prison thing. Maybe
Okay.
stab a guy.
So not a prison break.
So no prison break? All right.
I mean, not unless we have to. We kind
But-
of have ties here in Astoria, and
Yeah.
Elvira
Oh,
has
okay, okay.
political aspirations, so she really shouldn't be involved with a prison break in this town.
Listen, all I'm saying is that, Elvira just has to look the other way or just not come along, and I will just fireball the mess out of stuff and boom, prison break.
Listen, my legal cleric has advised me whenever I know things that I shouldn't open my beak because it could be incriminating to me in any future matters. So don't worry. I got you.
Great. What does your illegal cleric say? And I'm going to look at Sunny.
Yeah, Sonny, what do
like
you say?
Fireball. I like Fireball. We can do that together.
Yes.
So take a nap, do adulting, or whatever it is that you human folks call important tasking, and then back to adventuring because it's much more fun. All right. It sounds like it's time for me and you and everybody to take nap. And by take a nap, I mean we're going to long rest because we did level up. And then next week, our trusty world master should be unsick, and we will be back to doing shenaniganry things. But I think we have a plan. We know what we're going to do. We just need to compile a list of our questions for the court clerk and the Hall of Records in Astoria so we can get those squared away before we head out. We're going to run a raid over to Guild Superior, and we will see everybody back next week. Goodbye.